God told me to tell you that I got so many plans for your life that what happened to your father will not happen to you. The kind of life your father had is not the kind of life I have intention for you. You're going to live longer than your father. I can't hear nobody in here. Every attack that the enemy levied against your father will not be effective and successful over your own life. Every obstacle, every burden that your father was not able to get over, God says, I put a different level of strength around you. I have surrounded you with angels, watch this, to taste stuff before the devil poisons you. There was some stuff the enemy tried to put into your system to poison your dream, to poison your idea, to poison your gift, to poison your vision. But just before it could hit your mouth, God said, I took it out the cup so that you would never have to deal with stuff that would make you bitter. Here comes Jesus. Lord, let this cup pass from my mouth. I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who can receive it, you are not going to die a bitter person. I can't hear nobody. I said you are not going to die a bitter person. You're going to die with peace, knowing everything God created me to do, I was able to accomplish. Everything I had my mind set on, God is giving me the strength to handle. His job, ladies and gentlemen, was to drink from the cup. Make sure it wasn't poison. And when he's serving the king, his face has a dour expression. He looks sad in his countenance. Anybody who works in the court, part of your job, ladies and gentlemen, is to always have a smile on your face. Because when you are serving the king, you are not supposed to have a frown, but you are supposed to have an even countenance. To watch this, if you had a frown while serving the king, you could be charged with treason for upsetting the king's mood. Because if in fact you are not happy, it makes the king think you do not feel that you are in the right place serving him. So whenever you were in the court, there had to be a smile on your face to let the king know, I'm glad to be in the service. One more time. Hear me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand how people work in ministry with a bad attitude. I don't understand how people work in the church and watch this, and you can't get them to smile, you can't get them to speak. Whenever you come into God's house, there ought to be something about your spirit that says, if folk want to know why I'm happy, I work for the king. If you want to know why I got a good feeling about this, I work for the king. There is no better job than to be in the employ of the king. Says you, watch this, can be thrown out of the court just for how your emotions are. That's why David said, enter into his gates with thanksgiving, enter into his courts with praise. Do you know how many people in church would have been thrown out because their spirit is wrong? Do you know how many people, God help me, would have no right to sit in church? They can't speak, they can't smile, they can't turn to their neighbor. God said, how you work for me with that kind of attitude? He raises a critical question. Nehemiah does. He says, I'm trying to smile while serving you. But King, how do you expect me to smile when my family is falling apart? I'm talking to some people in the room that even while I'm in ministry, while I'm in church, I got a lot on my mind. And people have no idea what I'm wrestling with the family issues and the family matters that I'm trying to deal with. And God said, I'm glad you dragged in here with your family issues, because watch this, I'm getting ready to bless you. Because even while you had stuff going on at home, you still served me. And I wish there were some people in the room that can say, Pastor, I'm thankful that I'm able to worship God even though my house is a mess. I'm able to give God the glory even though my marriage isn't in the place I want it to be. I still serve him while my children drive me crazy, because I know God is able. He's holding on to this. Ladies and gentlemen, he says, how can I serve with a smile on my face, with everything that's going on in my house. Oh my God. And the Bible declares, ladies and gentlemen, in no uncertain terms that the king, I asked him a critical question that I feel responsible to ask you. I'm in verse number 4 of Nehemiah chapter 2. What do you want? Oh my God, what do you want for your family? What do you want for your children? What do you see for your household? How do you envision your community? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What is the passion you want to pursue? What is the degree you want to finish? What is the book you want to publish? Where is the place you want to live? What is the desire you have for your children? The king did not limit it to any one thing, but he gave him an open canvas. What do you want? And some of you are not positioned to be blessed simply because you don't know what you want. But I believe by faith there's somebody in the room that says, I dare the king to ask me. If he asks me what I want, I'm going to tell him exactly what I need him to do. I know what I want. Hallelujah. I need 50 of you to just declare out loud, I know what I want. I know what I want. Then be seated, please. Be seated. Now the king morphs into a banker. He asked him, what do you want? Then he asked him secondarily, how much money do you need? God, help me in here for whatever it is that you just declared, for whatever you just shouted about. In order for that to happen, how much money is it going to take? How much finances do you need to back your vision, your dream, and your idea? He says, watch this, if I give you the money, what are you going to do with it? Hallelujah. Now, I need to make sure I am not, here's what the king says to Nehemiah, I do not give money to people who don't have a plan. If you don't have a plan, I can't trust you with it. But I want to know, have you thought this thing out? Have you put down, watch this, the process that is needed for this to get off the ground? I'm tired of saints walking around in hocus pocus thinking it's going to come through osmosis. Do you have a plan for the favor that you want God to put in your life? And now the king makes history. The king makes history in Nehemiah chapter 2. History is made. I'm in verse number 4. I need you to underline it because it is the only place in the Bible you will ever find it recorded. The king asked Nehemiah, watch this, have you set a time? Now, why is that history? It is history because it is the sovereign monarchical opportunity for the king to set a deadline. But he said, because you got so much conviction about your passion, your dream, and